There is something going in your eyes. However, it is not only physical. You have felt it, have not you? A sudden sharpness in your vision, accompanied by an unusual brightness in your gaze. A moment when you see your own mirror and feel as if something old is staring back at you. Not just your face, but you, the genuine you. Most people believe that spiritual awakening begins in the heart or in the head. However, for many chosen, it begins with the eyes, because the eyes just observe the environment, they convey your vibe. And when your frequency rises, your eyes alter first. You may not see it right away, or you may doubt if it is old in your brain. But there comes a point where you notice something is changing. Your eyes appear different. They feel different. The way people perceive you also shifts abruptly. In this video, we'll explain what that shift actually is. The strange changes in your eyes that show your spiritual awakening have already begun. These are not typical indicators or cliches. They are quite detailed, and even the most awakened searchers frequently overlook them. But if you've been through even one of them, your eyes aren't only for singing. They are now commemorative windows. Sign one, and your students will begin to behave differently to individuals and situations. One of the first subtle but visible changes that occur during spiritual awakening is not related to what you perceive. It's about how your eyes perceive the world around you. You may notice that your students behave abnormally even when the lighting does not change. For example, you may come into a room and see your pupils dilate gradually, not because it is dark, but because the area feels tight or the energy is rapidly intense. Or while speaking to someone, your gaze is locked in for a longer period of time than normal, and your pupils have an unusual stillness or feeling as if they are rooted in a profound state of focus. This is not a medical concern. It is a response to energy and emotional stimuli. Your eyes, particularly your pupils, are linked to your neurological system and react not just to light, but also to emotional and subconscious cues. When you have a spiritual awakening, your perception expands. You begin to read between the lines, not just in conversation, but also in person. Pupils will start to react to subtle factors like someone's inattention, dishonesty, or vibrational dissonance. You may realize that your sight instantly shifts away from someone who is misaligned, or that you're drawn to strangers who share your spirituality. It's not that your eyes are failing. It's because your nervous system is now interpreting energy truth into bodily feeling. Your students reflect this transformation, become less sensitive to bodily changes and more in tune with what feels appropriate. This might be puzzling at first. People may notice that your eyes look different, either more intense or more tranquil. Some people may feel vulnerable when you gaze at them. Others may open up to you without understanding why. That's because your sight is no longer inactive. It conveys clarity. Most people won't notice it, but you will. And once you realize it, you'll notice how this one minor shift in your students opens the door to everything else. You'll catch your own reflection and perceive a stronger presence in your gaze. What you focus your attention on will have a greater emotional impact on you. And you'll start utilizing your sight to connect rather than merely observe. So, if you've observed your pupils reacting in ways that don't match your surroundings, or your eyes latching on individuals or objects with exceptional intensity, it's an indication that your body is learning to identify spiritual information through sensory perception, and your eyes are leading the way. This refers to brief instances when your eyesight blinks out for a split second. There's a moment that occurs repeatedly and always in silence. You are entirely present. Do not nod it or distract it. But then your eyes reset, not with a blink, not with a blur, a fast, almost unnoticeable change, as if your eyesight had halted and returned. It just lasts a fraction of a second, but it's noticeable. This blackout is not a physical condition. It indicates that your perceptual system is being recalibrated. It's your consciousness briefly stepping out of default awareness and returning with somewhat greater clarity. This frequently occurs during profound levels of internal attention like meditating, reading, or relaxing, but it may also happen in the middle of a discussion or while simply staring at something. Still, at that time, the portion of your brain that filters out information pauses, your awareness moves back, and when it returns, you're more present. This is related to what neuroscientists refer to as a microstate shift, but when combined with waking, it becomes something deeper. You're not simply moving focus. You're learning how to disengage from noise and reconnect with interior clarity. Following these events, the world frequently appears slightly altered. You may feel as if time has paused or that your sense of self has temporarily left the body. This is not a fantasy. It's your neurological system, an energy body that is constantly adjusting itself. These flickers are delicate reminders. Your consciousness is not dependent on what you observe. It is the one who observes it. When your fish slows, your spirit speaks, sign free. Other individuals begin to respond differently to your eye contact. You aren't doing anything differently. You're merely being present, listening, looking at someone while they talk. But they alter, they fidget, their tone varies, their gaze moves away. Sometimes they look deeper than normal and utter things they didn't want to say aloud. You did not ask for this, yet it continues happening. This is one of the most unexpected indicators of spiritual awakening. Your eye contact has an emotional impact on individuals. Your gaze shifts weight when your frequency changes. Not because you want to scare or impress, but because you can now operate with less noise. And quiet has power. Presence has power. People who are bearing shame, sadness, or unspoken emotional strain feel understood. Even if you don't say anything, people may not realize why your eye contact is uncomfortable, but the body reacts. Others, on the other hand, may be very attracted to you. They instinctively trust you. They believe you understand them because you just looked at them honestly. This is a spiritual presence, and the eyes are one of the primary routes. What's going on here is neurological and energetic. When someone is truly present, their micro-movements shift and their gaze becomes more still. The blinking delays the Eastern scan, which is where they join. Most people don't make this type of eye contact very often, so when they do, it's us. Something profound. Vulnerability, honesty, and discomfort. You may start to sense this. Some folks will shun your eyes completely. Others will feel emotional just looking at you. You did not cause this, but your presence highlighted it. If this is occurring to you, shrink back. It is not something to be controlled with force. It's something to appreciate in your eyes. Now, hold the energy of silence. And silence has the ability to modify a room sign by allowing you to see minor facial movements or micro-expressions in others. You start noticing things you didn't notice before. A flash of grief underneath someone's grin. When a tough issue is brought up, a tiny tightness of the jaw and a pause between sentences reveal more than what was spoken. You're not examining your observations. This symbol is not magical. It's about fine-tuning your perception. As your spiritual enlightenment progresses, your sensitivity to subtle cues grows drastically, and the eyes, which are the primary doorway for social interaction, begin to behave more like senses than watchers. Your awareness grows not just for what is stated, but also for what is not expressed. This is not about passing judgment. You're not attempting to communicate with or decipher others. It's an automated procedure. What about your nervous system? No longer overstimulated by mental noise, has greater capacity to respond to emotional stimuli. Even before someone speaks, you can sense their anxiety. You can tell when someone's tale doesn't fit with their vibe. You can see how people's eyes change when they're trying to conceal something even from themselves. The most sobering aspect is that expanded insight frequently leads to compassion rather than judgment. Because when you genuinely see them, you realize how much sorrow is hidden behind their faces. How many individuals are strolling about, trying to keep themselves together. Your eyes become more than just tools for observation. They become tools for empathy. You see more, but judge less. And this is one of the most obvious evidence that your awakening is not just true. It is extending into your connections, presence, and human connection. Sign 5. You notice a startling clarity in detail that was not present before. Recently, you may have seen things that others do not. Not grandiose visions, but specifics. The lines on someone's face. When sunlight hits a wall, dust particles float in midair. Micro-expressions that flash over someone's face in a second. Things you might have dismissed before now feel strangely heightened. It's not like your physical vision has improved. It is that your perceptual sharpness has increased. And this is one of the most subtle, yet crucial markers of spiritual awakening. Your brain is starting to process visual data with more focus. Most individuals navigate the world in a semi-distracted state. Every second, the brain filters away hundreds of visual stimuli, allowing you to focus on what is significant. However, when you begin to awaken spiritually, the filter starts to loosen. Things that were previously obscured by background noise now become clear. You see how light interacts with space. People's eyes convey emotion even before they speak. Your surroundings begin to communicate more clearly, not in fiction, but in detail. This occurs because your consciousness is becoming more fully integrated into the present moment. Spiritual awakening does not include perceiving things that do not exist. It is about becoming completely aware of what has always been there. Neurologically, your attention moves from default state to heightened focus. Your brain becomes less distracted by internal chatter and more alert to the present moment, while the eyes are the fastest conduit of outward information. You start to realize that your eyesight feels different, not sharper in prescription, but in meaning. This is also why your relations with others start to shift. You're not just staring at someone. You're seeing how their body language changes, how their look moves, how their words don't match their expression, and you can't take it anymore. It may feel unsettling at first. Some people describe it as overpowering. Be more attentive to movement, light, and small changes in the room. Others feel more connected to nature. Spending more time just watching the wind blow through the leaves or the animals go about their daily routine. You have not become odd. You have become conscious. And this is what makes it genuine. It is not mystical. It's about perceptual alignment. Your brain and energy field are perceiving in a way that enables deeper, more complete perception through your eyes. This is why spiritual awakening frequently triggers lifestyle adjustments. You may tend to prefer visually relaxing places or become disturbed in busy, chaotic settings. Your nerve system is synchronizing with your visual system. So, if you've lately begun to notice things that no one else does, not because they're invisible, but because they are frequently disregarded, understand this. You're not just observing more. You are perceiving reality in a different way. Your eyes have evolved into more than just sight-enhancing equipment. They are tools of present moment consciousness, and the transition is not coincidental. Sign 6. Your own eyes in the mirror begin to feel strange, yet very honest. It begins gradually. You look in the mirror like you usually do, but this time, something feels different. You glance at yourself and take a quick pause. Not because you look horrible or because anything is wrong, but because you don't recognize the person staring back. Your face is the same, but your eyes feel like they belong to someone else, or rather someone you're only now remembering. This is one of the quietest yet most intimate indicators of genuine spiritual awakening. You start to see your personal metamorphosis reflected in your situation. This encounter isn't about vanity or beauty. It's about identity. The eyes are commonly referred to be the windows to the soul. But as your enlightenment progresses, they become mirrors of reality, even if the truth seems foreign. First, you may notice that your eyes appear softer and more grounded. Or perhaps they look sharper, much more awake, not just in brightness, but also in their ability to hold one's attention, and in rare moments of silence. They appear to have a distinct presence entirely. This may seem unnerving at first. You could wonder, have I always looked like this? Or, why does it feel as if someone is gazing through me? But over time, you know it's not someone else. It's you, sans the filters. What's going on here is a collapse of the identity you used to see, the roles, defenses, habitual expressions, and everything else you've been unknowingly carrying into your reflection for years are starting to melt away. And now you can see well with your own eyes. Even if it's raw and strange, you're starting to recognize yourself without performance. This transition may be accompanied by emotional waves. Some days, you'll glance in the mirror and feel awed, as if you're finally reuniting with someone you left behind a long time ago. Some days, you'll feel vulnerable, exposed, and even emotional, not because something is wrong, but because something within is suddenly clearly obvious. Your eyes are no longer lying to you. They do not disguise your tiredness. They do not conceal your anguish. They can make you appear fine when you're not. Instead, they just represent the truth of who you are right now, without judgment. That is why this is such an effective indication. Because when your spiritual awakening dawns on you, you will no longer ignore yourself. You are meeting yourself, nor the version you present to others, nor the one formed by expectations, but the one that has been silently waiting beneath it all, your true self. If this has occurred to you, and you've recently gazed in the mirror, I've noticed a peculiar quiet, a moment of discomfort, or a sense of profound truth emerging from behind your own eyes. You are not imagining things. You are experiencing your own development. And then there's the moment of unfamiliarity. It is not disconnection. It's you finally seeing yourself clearly, perhaps for the first time. If you've seen any of these changes in your eyes, you don't need any more evidence. You're already on the route. Don't go it alone. Subscribe today and join a growing community of spirits who are awakening with you. People who are learning to see through the noise and clutter to the true essence of who they are. If you saw this video at the proper moment, please leave a remark below. I can see myself plainly now. Allow your reflection to be seen.